Hello, I'm Janine Nodder, and this is Chatting with Janine. The background is purple. I'm wearing purple. That can only mean one thing. This is the annual episode to talk about Alzheimer's and the longest day and hot dogs to end ALZ. And my guest every year is Bob Bergin. So welcome, Bob.
Thank you. I believe this is our 8th year or 9th year. We've been doing it together for a long time. Nationally, Alzheimer's affects someone every 60 seconds. It is a terrible disease. There is no cure. There is preventive medicine, but there isn't a cure medicine. There isn't anything that will alleviate the brain damage. Once the brain bleeds occur, once the synapses are under control of the disease, there's not much that can happen. It can a life cycle could be 4 years, could be 6 years, could be 7 years. It's very stressful on the families and on the caregivers. In 2015, Alzheimer's decided to do something besides having walks. So they created something called the longest day. It is a long disease, and each captain, as they have identified us as captains, gets to pick a topic or a subject or something they want to do that will raise awareness, advocacy, and if you throw in a little fundraising, they would be happy also. When I started, I had 14 Merrimack people who said, let's do this, let's sell hot dogs. We sold 300 hot dogs. We were rather pleased with ourselves. We came back the next year, and then next year, and then the next year, and now we're in our 9th year. Last year we sold 2,600 hot dogs to 1,500 people, and we raised $15,100. That put us in a position where everybody wanted to know about Merrimack, New Hampshire. So thank you if you're out there, because we are the 5th leading team in New England because of the years of fundraising. Currently, over the previous 8 years, we've raised $66,000. That's unheard of. There's only Lexington, Massachusetts, and us have been around for 8 years. Many teams last a year or two. But we have a unique situation in Merrimack. I have the support of the reps. I have the support of the governor. The town manager declares a proclamation. The town council is behind it. Just about every town employee eats a hot dog. And if they don't want to eat a hot dog, we solved that problem last year thanks to my wonderful friend Karen at DW Diner. If you don't know Karen, go in and introduce yourself. She and Adam are selling pasta salad and watermelon slices, which added a flavor to us that we didn't have. And so our event is unique in that we sit about 100 people under tents. We put people in the shade for the handicap side. I have people that will wait on you if you're handicapped and you drive in on the Master Cola side and you park. You can sit at one of the tables and Linda Durbin will come over, or Janice LaChance. They'll come over and they'll wait on you and take care of all of your needs. The food tent will be moved closer to the trees because of wind, but that's not changing a whole lot. Ron Sloan and Tom Lamb will be the coordinators there. And then we will have the DW Diner canopy, which is red. And Karen and Adam will be selling the $3 for pasta salad and $1 for any of the drinks you might want. They are going to be very, very good because everybody, or at least most people, are familiar with that restaurant and that chain. I have to give a shout out to them because they do something every year. So I have to hold this up and say thank you to the owners and the company because they donated 2,000 hot dogs last year. Now, I don't know where the number came from this year, but they're donating 1,800 hot dogs and 1,800 rolls this year. So I had to go find somebody else to donate more hot dogs.
Oh, nice.
Wasn't hard. Thirsty Moose said, oh yeah, I'll give you 500 hot dogs. So for the second year in a row, we will have, because of these two wonderful businesses, all the hot dogs and the majority of the rolls donated. That's a great relief because we don't have to go down to get it from a warehouse. We don't have to buy it. These two companies are fabulous to work with, and I appreciate the fact that they're making my job and my kitchen job a lot easier. So that we have. But I can't not tell you about my friend Carrie Sue, Doug, and Mark, the people from Coca-Cola.
There you go.
They donate, it's a number that's sinful.
Stop Alzheimer's
A
now.
lot of Coca-Cola and water. So they give us Fanta, Diet Coke, and Coke. And again, that's a pure donation. So when we're selling them at $1 a container for all the drinks, Mark and his staff are very, very proud. They walk around our event and you wouldn't even know they were there. But when you have sponsors of this nature, it's kind of hard to say that our longest day event isn't extremely unique. But lastly, somebody's going to say, what about the chips? Oh yeah, the little lady is bringing her chips. The little lady from Utz Chips. So she will be there, and we will have snack bags. They will be included. The chips will be included in the $5. So $5 will be 1 bag of chips and 2 hot dogs. Just the drinks will be the $1.
I'm just writing down the 160 calories a bag, so
Oh, 150
I'm going to just limit
Some
myself.
people need to know the calories.
Well, yeah, I do.
But some people do a lot of walking. So, but that's the biggest shout out I have, because these sponsors make my job easier. I have Lionel and Larry who truck off to go pick up the soda in Londonderry and down to Fitchburg to get the chips. But every year something happens that moves us along. Guess what? I have news, something we didn't have before. Thanks to Dick and all the guys at the American Legion, we're going to borrow their picnic tables. When you're 77 and your crew is mostly 75-year-olds, moving tables from the church basement has been a lot of work. Now we will only move them by truck from the grove at the American Legion across the road to the parking lot at Our Lady of Mercy. I think that's going to save us 3 to 4 hours of work. And I got to give a shout out to the American Legion, because they're loaning us their picnic tables. And that will make it more comfortable for people to sit. They're more comfortable with a picnic table than they might be with an individual chair. And that was this year's big move. That saves us a lot of work. We start work on Wednesday from 2 to 6. Dave Brown is the foreman. We'll be setting things in place. Dave and I will be out there with our chalking crayons like little kids, marking where does this go, where does that go. I think we have 6 colors. We bought the bucket with the 6 colors of chalk, and we're like little children out there on our knees going, okay, put this one here, put that one there.
Do you draw little pictures as you go?
I don't know about pictures. I think we just put squares down. You just say, this is where this is going to go, that's where that's going to go. But it's an opportunity if anyone wants to be involved. Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 6 is when we have a lot of grunt work. And it's not painful,
That's
it's not
the 26th.
dangerous.
So write that down, June 26th.
When June 26th,
setup day.
We're going to be doing setup and laying it out. The guys will be coming back from Utz with the chips. The Coca-Cola, fortunately, will be picked up the week before, so we won't have to pick that up on Wednesday. But there's a lot of running around to be done with some of the major players on the team, so I need a few more bodies. Half a dozen would be great, between 2 and 6, to help us set everything in place. And we do have one other vendor that's going to be neat this year. Let me explain to you what we've done. We've added the $1 for the drinks. We've added DW Diner pasta salad, and the watermelon slices will not be available, but the pasta salad will be available at the drive-thru. And that was at the request of the drive-thru manager. So we're going to be packaging that. Along with this year, we will be packaging the onions in a little container to the drive-thru customers. And it's really unusual to say a lot of drive-thru customers.
Who prepares all the onions?
Ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just various women will be preparing. On Wednesday, they'll be chopping onions downstairs, so I won't be dictating, oh, you're an onion chopper. No, it's just, I got 30 pounds of onions.
If you walk into the room full of women crying, you'll understand.
Yeah, well, but a lot of them are ladies that have been working with me on church events and community events and July 4th, and they're just good people, and they know how to do what they know how to do. And I have all little purple containers. So when someone comes to the hot dog event, they are at a table and there's this bowl with onions in it. And at the drive-thru, we're going to have cups so that someone can get their hot dogs to go and get their little package of onions should they choose. We're going to try to offer, we're going to experiment with it. It'll be new. So bear with us if you're at the drive-thru. If you want the pasta salad, they'll have some there, 20 or 25 containers, and then we'll just keep refilling the drive-thru. The drive-thru is on the School Street entrance, which is the same entrance you would go to if you came off Babusick Lake Road, where the police station is, and that's School Street. I've discovered many people don't know where School Street is versus Church Street. And Church is on the other side by the cemetery, and School is next to the school. But that's where the drive-thru is, and that will be helpful for people to go there.
Yeah, how long have you had the drive-thru now?
This is our third year.
Third year.
Every year we learn.
It's a big hit. I know a lot of people
we
that go to the
we
drive-thru.
sold well over 1,000 hot dogs at drive-thru last year.
Wow.
And a lot of donations, a lot of generous people that came back. That we do not, unfortunately, we do not yet accept credit cards. We cannot set ourselves up as a business. We are a nonprofit. We are only actually an acting 501c for 4 months. When the end of July comes, I'm no longer anything with Alzheimer's. Everyone has a 4-month period to be an active participant in the Alzheimer's charity. But after the 4 months is up, either you renew to do another event, and the next event would be the walk, which is also held in Merrimack.
Oh, at the Outlet Mall.
At the Outlet Mall.
Yes.
But that team is run by Ron Sloan, so I don't.
Right.
He will start to.
He's been on the show before.
Ron's been on the show, and he's the coordinator of the walk team. That will occur sometime in September. We'll have information about that. The really nice thing is we helped get it moved from downtown Manchester to the outlet malls, and last year it was very, very successful. But people just found that the merchants were receptive. There was water everywhere. It was a casual environment. It was all flat. Parking was good, and Alzheimer's was very, very happy to bring the event to Merrimack. And now it's like Merrimack is their center of the earth, because now they're calling that walk the Central New Hampshire Walk in Merrimack.
And you can see what's on sale at the Outlet Mall.
Yes. Well, you walk right through the Outlet Mall.
Mm-hmm.
So they march through the Outlet Mall, and that's what's going to be good. So that's, take a bow, Merrimack, because when we started in 2016, I didn't think it would get this big. I also didn't think they were going to bring the walk here. But before I forget and get myself in major trouble, I traded this lady from my team to the lady who runs the Puzzles for a Cause, Sylvia White. And that started last year, and some of you that bought puzzles are aware of the fact it was gently used puzzles, and we have 5 drop locations. I'll see if I can do this correctly. Silva Auto, 2 Triangle credits, 1 in Merrimack and the 1 in Amherst. Franklin Savings Bank, which is near the Shaws in South Merrimack.
Exit 11.
And M&T at the Pennachuck Square, down at 101 at the end of the Continental Boulevard. Each of them has been wonderful collecting puzzles. But please, people, you need to buy some puzzles.
Oh, I will.
I have 31 cartons of puzzles in my dining room. We don't sit in the dining room anymore. We can't even walk through the dining room.
It's full of puzzles.
But it's amazing. People are buying puzzles. People are generating puzzles. It's an activity that, while not everyone who has dementia can do, but it is an activity that sometimes caregivers will be doing with their loved one. And maybe they'll do a 300 piece. Maybe they'll buy the ones that are extra large. There is a definite connection between puzzles and the cognitive brain. And there is something to do with the mind and the casuality of it, as long as you don't take yourself too seriously. During COVID, a lot of people started doing puzzles. That's what happened to Sylvia and I. And we started doing puzzles, and we ended up with a lot. So we said, let's make another event within our event. And so Puzzles for a Cause is a separate longest day team. And just to show you the team that she's assembled, Jen Popovsky used to be president of seniors, Bob and Fran LaRue, everybody knows them, Maureen Mooney, and this fine lady, and a couple of other people. So she has a very good team. You'll be able to go there and probably see as many as 300 puzzles on display. Walk around, pick out your ones you want, make a donation.
Bring a big bag.
And bring a big bag. And yes, up until next Friday, or this Friday, we will be collecting at the 5 locations. After that, we will secure all the boxes and try to evaluate how much has been collected. then my job is to then balance out all the exhibitors. Without hesitation, one new exhibitor arrived on the scene, and I'm thrilled to have them. Merrimack Friends and Family will be joining us, and they will be next to DW Diner. Laura Libby and Tammy Dittman and a couple of the other ladies, I don't know all of them. They're going to sell baked goods, homemade baked goods, coffee,
I'm
tea,
in trouble.
and they're going to have drinks. So the drinks don't, if you wanted to get a second drink, you could walk up to that canopy. You don't have to get back to the big line and wait your turn with the hot dog people. So if you wanted a cold drink, you could get your cold drink. And that'll be a much easier time for us to be able to say, oh yeah, you just have to go over to, there'll be a banner that says Merrimack Friends and Family, and these ladies will be selling you low-calorie chocolate pastries. So if you're going to do a lot of walking,
It's the cheat day. Just it's your
just-
cheat
you
day.
just
Have the
keep
hot
going.
dogs, the chips, and the baked goods. Buy some puzzles.
And
Pasta.
one new exhibitor, which is really fun, is the Merrimack Historical Society. Larry Schauer, who was coordinator of my exhibitors last year, is on the board over there, and he said, I want to bring my team. Okay, let's figure this out. So we did, and I'm very happy to have the good people of the Merrimack Historical Society joining next to the Merrimack Library. So if you're a Merrimack resident, you're going to get to see great people, the library and the Historical Society next to each other. Our author from the Seacoast, K.G. Mason, is coming back.
I remember him.
And he was very, very pleased, so pleased that he doubled his donation after last year, because he said so many people, he's a mystery writer who has written mysteries on the seacoast of New Hampshire and Maine, and he used to own a restaurant called Saunders. He's a very, very nice man, very professional. He was talking about writing and everything with a lot of people, and that was wonderfully received. So it's a very active, you could do an hour's worth of just walking around. You could grab a coffee. You could find out what you want to find out. Oh,
It's
and
kind of
then
like an old home day, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people
Then
every year that I only see on hot dog
the
days.
last thing, this old couple, I think they've been married like 50 years, but they have been my friends for 50 years. Pat and Larry Miller
I know
are
them.
going to take over all the swag. We will have, this is the new fluffy hat that doesn't have a ridge. We will have the ball cap. We will have t-shirts. The hats are 25, the t-shirts are 10. This is the generic t-shirt that says longest day. It's simple, it's nice, we'll have all the sizes. And if you don't, if you want anything, just go see Pat. And Pat will tell you what she has and what she doesn't have. She's the most organized lady that I have on the team. No, I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back. I didn't say Pat was the most organized.
She's one of the most organized.
Yes, one of the most, yes, because Sylvia would not be happy with me.
Oh, yeah, those
But-
puzzles are organized.
So that's what we're doing outside. The kitchen staff is under the tutelage again of Lorraine Carl and Claude Mayo on the cooking grill. And we're pretty well set in the kitchen, I think. I'm pretty comfortable with the crew that's been set up. And again, we have donations of hot dogs. All the relish and condiments come from Thirsty Moose. All the aluminum foil in the gloves comes from Michael Timothy's, aka Buckley's. So there's it's almost like last year. We won't have to buy much. I'd say if I buy $500 worth of supplies, that would be a lot. That's why we can raise 15, 16,000. We don't have to go out and spend thousands to make 5,000. So the community has come around. New vendors this year, Reed's Ferry Lumber, TC Salon, and there's two other ones I can't think. But anyway, new vendors are coming.
You had somebody there doing haircuts last
Oh,
year.
yes. Ritual Grooming is coming back. They will be on the same wall as Fimble Garage Door. Heather and her crew will cut hair all day, and it's all a donation. And so that's Triangle Credit is an exhibitor, Puzzles for a Cause, Fimble Door, Ritual Grooming, Visiting Angels,
Oh, Visiting
the
Angels. I'm
library,
very familiar with them.
the Historical Society, and K.G. Mason, the author. I think that's all of them. But when you're me, and if you know me, you know that this is like a massive amount of stuff, and I don't always put it in the right. I used the word "these" the other day, and it was taken totally out of context. But I didn't realize the way I phrased it. If you use an adverb, you better be careful the English language can be tricky today with new platforms and everything else. So I hope you realize this. The advocacy part of this is the people who've been living with the disease. We hear you. I'm a widower. You will either are a widower or become a widower. Dick, who's in the hot dog costume, has lost his wife to Alzheimer's within the last year and a half. And it strikes everyone in a different way. I'm always warmed by the thank you notes, but I'm warmed by the people who walk up to me and ask me if I could come sit with their relative and talk to them. And I said, sure. You know, I'm always warmed by 2 years ago, a very good friend who's had Alzheimer's now for 5 years was sitting there, and Chris Sununu sat down next to him to talk football. And Chris's mom has Alzheimer's, so he knew exactly how to word everything and how to have a conversation. So it's not a political event. I must say the governor is a gentleman. He shows up. I rarely realize he's arrived. Paul McCallie says, you know, sometimes he parks by town hall. Sometimes he walks across the parking lot so nobody sees his vehicle. Sometimes he parks by the school. We never know when he arrives. I don't know if he's coming. I usually find out at the last minute from one of my state reps. But, you know, we try not to make it political, and we try to keep that out of it because advocacy for an illness is our project.
And Alzheimer's doesn't, it strikes anyone, regardless of how they feel about anything.
All checks can be made out to Alzheimer's. So if you bring your checkbook, that will be helpful. You may want to buy a hat. You may want to make a donation. You may want to do something. We do not, unfortunately, have the ability to take any credit cards. I think M&T Bank was extremely helpful with me. We tried to figure out a way for us to have the thing
ATM?
You can... No, the ATMs that's way out of our money league.
Okay.
Because you can't get these things for a week. Mm-hmm. You have to get them for 6 months.
Oh.
And the same thing with setting up a credit card. Yeah. If you don't have enough ongoing events to offset the cost, then you know it's like $600 just to have your own little square and do this and do that. And I don't have an ongoing account that lasts longer than 2 months. Right now we have the technology that if someone gives me a check, I can app it and it gets deposited. I don't have to, I can give them the check back. But if you're at the event and the person, I'm the only one with the app. It's very security conscious that Sylvia can do it at the puzzle booth because she has it on her phone and I have it on my phone, but we can't hand it off to somebody else to do that because they identify which phone it is and what they're getting. So we can deposit immediately, but unfortunately you have to bring cash, which some people don't always carry a lot. We will have 2 different spaces for you to sit in. So there'll be this way we're trying to spread it out a little bit. We had moments last year when we had 120 people and there was no seats.
Oh, well that's good.
Well, it's good if you're not trying to seat people. Yeah, I mean, I felt like a maitre d' with my hat. I had my hat.
You tell people your table's ready.
Yeah, there was we don't tell people where to sit. The people that have been coming year after year typically go into what I call the alley of the Our Lady of Mercy Church, which is from the road back. But we're going to be adding the picnic tables from the American Legion into the center of the parking lot, so that'll be more visible. So that was Ron Sloan's idea, and when Dick just, he was just super nice. He just said, "Yeah, okay, we'll work with you." Mm-hmm. He said, "How are you going to get him over there?" I said, "Lionel Carl has a trailer, Larry Miller has a truck, this guy has a truck," and I said, they only need to be moved a half a mile or quarter mile, and then we'll move them back."
So we're almost to the end of the show. I wanted to go over a couple of dates again. So the setup date is Wednesday, June 26th from 2 to 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then the Hot Dogz to End ALZ is Thursday, June 27th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Melissa Grenier is the state director for...
She'll be there all day.
She'll be, okay. I've had her on the show. We did like maybe 3 or 4 shows with her. Went all different aspects of Alzheimer's and different kinds of dementia and how it works. You know, what happens to the brain. These are brain cells. I talk with my hands. all that can be found on the app Merrimack TV.
Okay.
Under Chatting with Janine. Somewhere, don't know whether it was last year or the year before we did that. I did that several.
That was very useful. I've received a lot of compliments for the Merrimack TV because Melissa, I think she grew up in Merrimack, but now she lives in Manchester. But the more advocacy she can arrange, the more. And you're one of the only people who let her do a TV spot. When you first did it with you, she wasn't doing any with any other towns. And then it progressively worked, I think, Londonderry and maybe one other one.
Yeah, it turned out to be a mini-series. I
Yeah.
had her on several times, and because there's so much to talk
And
about.
they're using that in training at the Alzheimer's office is in Bedford. And Melissa's just grateful for the opportunity that you created for her, because although they've been in Bedford for a long time, they didn't have a TV access channel that they could say, yeah, this is, they could reference. So that's, they won't, the Megan O'Neill's the director of Longest Day, she'll be here, but I always lean on Melissa with people with questions. Mm-hmm. And the 24-hour hotline and all this good stuff. All the literature that you'll ever need is either in the police station or the library. I put in 5 different types of brochures in both the police station and the library. So.
And then, of course, we have to show the hot dog pillow,
Yes,
because
the hot dog pillow.
This is a prop that's on the show every
This
year.
is 8 years this pillow
8
has
years.
survived. It goes back in the bag and I don't mess with it. It's showing a pretty good wear, but it.
Yeah. So the first time you had the hot dog pillow, we taped in the big room, the Matthew Thornton room, and Ron Sloan was on that episode, and I don't remember who else, but it was
I
a few
can't
of you.
remember.
Yeah.
I'm old.
So, all right, we're about out of time, but I will see you on the Longest Day. I'll be in the puzzles, but I'm looking forward to having those hot dogs.
I want you to work the puzzles, and I don't want to see you, because I'm going to avoid the puzzle ladies. There are draped ladies, and I'm going to go, okay, hope they're doing well, because I know my place. I don't go in the kitchen, and I don't go in the puzzle booth. So, I handle everything else. Thank you very much, as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching.